Why tenants moved out. 7 primary reasons. If you've ever owned a rental property, you know how difficult it can be to please tenants. We all want to keep our tenants happy and make sure they stay put, but the reality is that sometimes they move out early. There are several reasons tenants move out. Here are 7 of the most common ones we've seen over the years. Number 1. The rental property is not as advertised. Let's face it, many rental properties look better in pictures than it does on site. So, if the tenant finds that it's not what they expected, this will result in tenants leaving sooner rather than later. This reason for moving out was the top reason for tenants to move out of a rental property early. Number 2. Maintenance issues. Of all the issues a rental property could have, this one is often the hardest to spot. Some maintenance issues are only apparent after a month or more after moving in. Tenants may move out because they are not getting the repairs done that they need. They may also be upset with how long it takes to get the repairs done. Number 3. Neighbors are a problem. If you've ever felt like your neighbors were a problem, it's because they probably were. Maybe they were too noisy, or their pets were always getting out and causing problems. Perhaps it was their yard maintenance that got to be too much for you. Perhaps they did nothing and just drove everyone nuts with how they looked at their property or how unkept it was. Whether it's renting an apartment or a house, many tenants choose to move out because of neighbors who bother them on an ongoing basis. Number 4. The cost becomes too much. You may have heard that rents are rising. Typically, if your landlord raises your rent to keep up with inflation, then it's unfair for the tenant to say they are being overcharged. There's more to it than that. When you look at the numbers, it becomes clear why renters would want to move on. Rent increases are ahead of inflation and income growth in many cities. In other words, it's raising too much. Additionally, inflation also happens in other parts of life, like gas, groceries, etc. So when you consider all these factors together, it makes sense why someone would choose to move out early. Number 5. The area has poor safety and security. Local crime rates, the number of police officers in the area, traffic safety, and public transportation access all affect your tenant's perception of safety. The high crime rate and lack of neighborhood security can be why tenants would do this in a hurry. Number 6. The inconvenience of the location. If we're honest, location is everything. However, what happens when your tenant moves into an apartment complex where everything seems so inconvenient? The tenant may start to complain about how far away things are, which will lead them to consider moving out as early as possible. Number 7. A landlord who is a problem. Yes, you. The reason why tenants move out of their rental homes is that the landlord does not perform their duties as expected. This can be attributed to several reasons, but one thing that should be avoided at all costs is a landlord who is not communicative. In conclusion, if your tenants are renting from someone who does not respond to maintenance issues and does not take care of tenant needs, there's a high chance they will move out early.